my commentary on Max Bauer's video. So I'll start right at the beginning.
All right, here we are. Greetings all, it's Max, and we're back. And today we're doing a little video. The old Bri wants to come out and prove himself to be a terrible human being. So what we're doing is apparently him and his right-hand man, Tim, had a little falling out. Now watch Tim's video where Tim explains his concern for Bryan's heretical beliefs and his backloaded salvation idea that everything a Christian would not do these things, otherwise they're not saved. This sort of lordship, work, salvation, as well as Bryan's ideas on music. And Bryan had some other people fall away from his little cult because of that, and some other things. And this is Bryan's con man getting ahead of the fallout from this little situation he has from his disciples that have their own little followings, and pointing out where he's a little messed up. Now I'm going to warn you, I'm going to get pretty heated in this to try and snap some of you people out of here who are supporting this guy. All right? Bryan Denlinger in this video proclaims himself to be a racist, and that if you date someone of a different color, you are therefore in sin, and therefore you're never saved. All right?
And Bryan Denlinger is wrong on that as well. Because we aren't in sin if people are dating someone interracial dating or marriage. So what, Bryan Denlinger?
Now, if you're supporting this nutcase, you are supporting that. All right? You are supporting that. You are supporting a guy who thinks nothing of lying to people he's fellowshipped with for 5+ years. Thinks nothing of it. Nothing. The guy is objectively proven time again a complete liar. Liar. Forget if he's messed up on doctrine. Forget it. He's a liar.
Yep,
and then when you call him out on it, guess what he does? He makes a hit piece video on you. That's what he does. He goes out, he doxes people. You send him money and you decide not to support him anymore, he's going to bring up your PayPal account information and say, look at this wicked heretic. He requested a refund. That's what you get when you get involved with Bryan Denlinger. You've been warned, and you're going to get what you deserve. You keep supporting the guy. Let's take a look at his video he came out just today in response to Tim's video that he did. Let's see what he's got.
Showing the hypocrisy of this young man here. I asked for prayer for him. Apparently,
Bryan considers himself a grizzled old elder full of life's experiences. Okay? In reality, he's a middle-aged man who's really never been out in the world at all, ever. Okay? Grew up in a small town, always in church, had a couple of part-time jobs, and then decided to go be in the ministry. And lives in his tiny house away from people because he hates people. And he's a grizzled old wise elder now, according to himself. Just like he's a pastor, according to himself.
Going beyond that, and he's now joining the ranks of Pale Eddie and all the others that were former Denlinger watchers, and now they just spend all their time making...
All those other people. And now they come out greatly against Bryan because he's such a mind control guy.
Yep.
Okay? You're in his cult and everybody else is the enemy. And then when you say, "Hey Bryan, what did you mean by this or what did you mean by that?" he casts you out. He makes videos saying slanderous videos saying you're a wicked heretic who never believed anyway and you're probably lost. Oh, you listen to music, you're probably lost anyway. Don't worry about what he has to say. He's a wicked heretic. This is what he does. This is what he does to his most trusted followers. People, by all means, send him your money. Keep sending it to him.
And Bryan Denlinger, you've never gotten a cent from me, and you never will.
Support this nonsense.
Video after video after video exposing me. Very pathetic to go from a guy that was making videos on the Bible and whatever else, and now he's just going to make videos to try and tear down my ministry.
Right.
Never
Because
happened
he
to me
sees it.
before.
Look,
Yeah.
that's what happens when you discover that there's lies and damnable heresies that are being taught in a ministry. It's your job to go out and go tell people about it.
That's
it's your
right.
job. You say, hey, look, Bryan Denlinger objectively lies here and here and here and here and here and here. He's doxing people and breaking the law over here. This guy used to really follow him, but now he disagreed with them, so he's throwing him under the bus here. It's your job to point that out to people.
Yep.
It's your job. Don't get mad about it. Don't get mad.
But just play this little clip here. He is talking about the thing of interracial marriage, what he's doing. I'm not even going to play his video because he's going through personal emails, showing personal emails
I'm drinking a Diet Coke. I'm going to hell, aren't I, Bryan?
going on, bringing up personal things, dragging myself through the mud and others as well.
And I drink Fanta Bryan Denlinger.
And I'm not even going to get into the names and things. That's what these people do. They'll take private correspondence and then they bring it out. They betray you. They stab you in the back. They'll say, oh, this is just between you and me. And then they bring out a bunch of stuff and whatever else.
Oh, really, Bryan? Is that what people do, or is that what you do? Is that what you do? Oh, what's the deal with Max Bauer? Why is Max Bauer all mad? Oh no, Max Bauer sent Bri there $1,000, and Bri in the old message thing. There's a message thing that used to be in YouTube. I sent him a thing and said, where do I send the money? And he's like, he sends back and thinks that I'm a Jesuit. So I send him all of my real contact information and a little bit of my backstory. And what does Bri go do? When he decides he doesn't like me anymore, years later, goes back through the messaging system. The messaging system in YouTube before they disabled it. Now, in this message system, you can only see 10 messages before you have to click next page. Right? He went back years and years and years, probably through thousands of messages, just to find my private information so he could make a video about it and put it on his Patreon. That's what he did. Goes through and puts up people's PayPal information.
Or, Max, Bryan could have bookmarked your personal information when you messaged him. He could have bookmarked it or screenshot it. And instead of going through all the messages, it is possible he could have screenshot all your personal information there and then.
Information when they request a refund because they find out he's a dirtbag. And this
Bryan
guy
is a dirtbag.
Because in correspondence, Bryan's caught to be a liar. He's shown in his own correspondence, he's shown to be a liar. He's got proof. And old Bri's mad about that because that was a personal conversation. That was personal. Hypocrite, liar, con man. By all means, if you want to support liars and con men and hypocrites, send your money to Bryan Denlinger. Pony Express it. Pony Express it. He probably is kicked off PayPal now already. Let me tell you, stand out, straight up guys don't get kicked off of Patreon. Don't get suspended from YouTube, right? Don't have problems with PayPal because of all of their shenanigans, all right?
I dealt in my live stream I did about Tim and this Jake Mays guy. I left any kind of personal correspondence when I'm not going to be showing that stuff. But these guys, they'll take personal details and then they bring it out and they just whatever. It's character assassination is all that this stuff is.
Character assassination.
But just play a little bit.
You don't need to assassinate Bryan's character and look very hard. You just play one of his videos, and somewhere within the first minute or two, you will catch him in a lie. Do you people not see this?
I can.
Do you not see it? Now, I've been personally leaving the guy alone for probably a year now. I just don't care. His voice is grating, and I don't care. Other people are out there doing it. I don't need to do it. But this, my friends, is ludicrous. Him coming out and saying, oh, these are private. These are private. These are private emails. And you caught me in a lie. Ooh. And so you make a little video. Now, this is your pastor, people. your self-proclaimed pastor out there slandering
I agree.
the people that
with
attend
Max.
his church. Okay? Still want to send him that money? Send him the money. Send him the money.
Here of he's showing my thing here in my video. Let's play this.
Little thing. I don't know if I've ever even said this before, but I had numerous interracial relationships, and I don't mean fornication, but dating interracial
So what?
Spanish girls before I met my wife.
Yep, so what?
And you say, oh, you were involved in interracial relationships? Yeah. You know why? Because I was a sex pervert.
There you go.
That's why.
And there you go. He's admitted to be a sex pervert.
Hold on there, Tim.
Now, these guys are both a little messed up, okay? Because Tim does believe that the interracial marriage thing is a sin. But do any of you people out there think that interracial marriage is a sin, or if you date somebody who is a different skin color, of all things? Different skin color. What kind of an inbred hick is this guy? You guys look different than me. It's a perversion to go and date them. I mean, it amazes me that people like this even still exist on this planet, right? The skin color is wrong. By all means, send them your money. Send them your money. You want to support that. Okay? Now, he's twisting the argument here away from his lies. Because Tim's video started off basically calling the guy a liar. Okay? And we're twisting it away from the whole lie thing, which is proven fact. Okay? He lied about being on a live stream, and he lied about some other things, and he lied and was two-faced in his interactions between himself and Tim in email and what he posted on the video. And that's what the whole thing was about. Now he's going to take this interracial marriage thing and make an argument about that to divert away from all this other stuff. Tim calling him out about being a Lordship Work Salvationist. Tim calling him out about being a liar. Tim calling him out about being a phony manipulator. Forget all that. It's this interracial marriage thing. We're going to talk about that because I don't think you understood me on my interracial. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares. But this is the classic manipulation con man job of, I'm going to get ahead of any backlash about this and say it was all over a misunderstanding with interracial marriage. Ain't about what it was. Nothing about that.
You just lied. I was a sex pervert in the past before I got saved.
Before you got saved? Really? Bryan, you started your ministry watching porn.
Yep.
You're playing video games and watching porn until you got married. Right? So you say you were a sex pervert before you got saved. You just got caught in a lie.
Bryan Denlinger lies too much. And I've caught him out too many times lying. I don't get conned by this guy.
Send him your money. Send him your money. God loves liars, right? He's going to bless you. And there are people that are out there that are thinking, well, Bryan's got some kooky doctrine here and there, and I really don't agree with that, and blah, blah, blah. But you send him your money, don't you? He's got his 100 acres. He's got his couple of 3 houses now. He's got his money. You're sending it to him. You support it. What are you people doing? And then you want people to, like, care when you got a problem? You know? You don't think any of this stuff like goes back on you when you support blatant racism, con men, liars? You know, it's the same thing as you donate to a ministry who's out there doing good work. And, you know, of course, there are maybe some things you don't know about, you disagree with, you just don't know about them, you send off, they do good work, and of course, you're going to get blessings come back to you. When you go out there and you give money to Bryan Denlinger, and you know the guy's a liar, you know the guy's a hypocrite, you know he's got messed up ideas about interracial marriage, and you send your money anyway. You knowingly are doing that. You are supporting it. You are forwarding this idea. I mean, you're just a smidge away from races not being equal and people not being equal. You understand that?
And we all come from the race of Adam and Eve anyway, so it doesn't matter what someone's skin color is.
We are all one in Christ.
Yep.
Skin color does not enter the picture.
He's admitting to being as present tense. That's slander. You're lying about a preacher. I talked about my past life.
Lying about Bryan. We don't need to lie. Why would we ever need to lie about Bryan? He does such a good job of it to himself.
Yep.
And you make it into present tense. You're a liar.
For going after Spanish women, by his own admission now, he says that it's okay if they're of Japheth.
Okay. Now, I tried to correct this child. All right.
Child. He's like 25. Okay. Bryan Denlinger is barely old enough to be his dad. Barely old enough. Actually, I don't think he is, because I think Bryan's only like 44. So he's not even old enough to be the guy's father, and he's calling him a child. Okay? Grizzled, elder, Bryan.
Of course Tim is not a child, right? Bryan Denlinger is nuts.
Denlinger, right? Who stopped working when he was 30. This worldly man who knows all about everything calls another guy a child who's like 10 years younger than him. Really? Like what he is saying isn't true because he's 25.
Bryan is turning 45, Max. So you've got that one wrong. But anyway,
25 isn't really a child. You're kind of into your manhood there. But this is what Bryan does. You don't listen to him because he's a child. Don't listen to him because he's a heretic. Don't listen to him for this reason. Don't listen to him because he's black. Bryan's about to go there. This interracial marriage stuff. Don't listen to him. He's Spanish. They don't know what they have different cultures. Don't listen to him. He's right there. He's right there. Send him your money. Send it.
Explain to him that there are different types of what would fall under Spanish women in Central America. I've been to Costa Rica twice, been to Honduras once. I think the first time in Costa Rica was about 2 weeks, I think.
Anyways,
next time to Costa Rica was
I'm going to skip all this because we're only 3 minutes in. He's already lied a whole bunch of times. Okay? And he's already declared that he's a racist and already says here that, well, he'll say this at the end of the video, is basically you're in sin and you're lost if you're in an interracial marriage or any sort of, if you're hooking up with interracial people. So, that's what you...
With Bryan, where does Jesus come into it? What he did on the cross. This guy loves to add to the gospel. Conditions of salvation.
God, send the dude your money, okay? Pony Express it down there. And then don't ever say anything bad about Bryan because then he'll just put all your information on the internet and slander you. So, yeah, if you want in on that deal, go ahead and send it down there. I do have a couple of time codes written down that I don't exactly remember what they were for. So we're going to go check it out. We're going to go down here. I mean, this whole part in the middle, from 3 minutes here on to here, is 10 minutes of Bryan slandering Tim's last name. Because apparently Tim's last name...
Which I'll be covering that later on. Yep, I'm covering every word of what Bryan Denlinger says.
According to a modern day website, means con man or something. And because his name that he was born with goes back to Spain somehow, that means that he is Spanish and he's a con man because of the name he was born with. A modern website says that's what his name means. He's really going out on a limb to try and slander Tim, and it's kind of hilarious that you're going to say a name that a guy is born with, has no choice in, means something that somebody else said, you know. And that's his argument against what Tim was saying about Bryan being a liar. Here's the black and white email where Bryan's a liar and being a two-face by pretending to be nice to Tim and pretending to get along while at the very same time uploading a video blasting him. And about his work salvation nonsense, where a saved person won't listen to music. What kind of music? Oh, I guess rock music. Anything with drums in it. Anything with drums. Anything with guitars. Saved person won't do that. Really? Chapter and verse. Okay, that's what this whole sort of thing blew up with in his little cult. Was all music is bad because Bryan doesn't listen to it. Okay? Just telling you. And this is what comes of it. He's going to slander you on the net. So we're going to take a look at 1450, I think. Vaguely remember what this is. And, yeah, this is again about what Tim's name means. And it's like, that's not really the argument and the point. And that has nothing to do with anything.
Group that occupied much of Europe north of the Alps. The Proto-Celtic Urnfield culture was located in Central Europe until the 8th century BC. I don't like the BCE thing. Before Christ, not before the Common Era. When the first recognizably Celtic Hallstatt culture began to disseminate from a heartland in southern Germany. And
I messed that up. 1450, not 1350. So yeah, we're going to go through and read a web page, all the rigorous research that Bryan did on his last name. Yeah, and apply that and say that has something to do with who the guy is and his personality. Now keep in mind, this is his trusted disciple for many years.
Yep.
Trusted supporter for many years. And this is how he treats him. All right? You keep that in mind. Send him your money. Send it.
Bryan's
Send
a turncoat.
He needs a bigger pair of clown shoes.
No loyalty from Bryan.
All right. This is where Bryan, I guess, looks up interracial marriage, okay? So let's take a look at this, what Bryan thinks.
Images.
Oh my. Look at that. There's a black person.
And I love
a black
it.
person
Black
standing with a
people.
white person. Did you believe that?
I love
God,
interracial
in this day and age,
marriage.
a black person and a white person. Look at that. They're getting married. Oh, the blasphemy.
Down throat. White and black. Obviously very, very much different.
Oh, just blow my mind.
Okay.
How could that happen?
And they are from the race of Adam and Eve, Bryan Denlinger.
Today's age.
And again, this whole thing goes back to this young man here being offended because I came out against rock music. And, you know, and what's he doing?
Yeah, because you know what it takes? You know what it takes for these people? They're very hardcore Denlingerites. I've spoken to many of them and brought many of them out of the cult, okay? You know, it takes a little bit. It takes someone like me to slap him upside the head and go, hey, did you catch what he just said? Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Do you support that? Then why are you supporting Bryan? Hey, guess what? And then over the next few weeks, they listen to Bryan's videos and they determine all this stuff that we've been saying for years about works, lordship, salvation, him being a racist. All of a sudden, it goes through their little ears and they break through the cult membrane. They break through the cult membrane and they wake up and they go, wow, I have eyes to see and ears to hear now. Holy, what was I even thinking being in this guy's deal? That's what they all say. Why do you think all of these ex-Denlingerites are out there making videos all the time? Because they see it and they feel responsible as being part of the cult to try and make up for what they were doing in the cult. Okay? Following all that nonsense.
And that's why I do lots of videos on you, Bryan Denlinger.
Nonsense. And they're trying to make it up to other people so they don't get stuck in that trap and get people out of it and away from it. Okay? They're trying to free people. That's what's going on with that. But by all means, send him your money. He needs another truck. He needs some more land. He needs a ministry headquarters, though he doesn't want to call it a church building. because no one's allowed. No one's allowed. No trespassing.
He's going and he's digging up personal messages. He's showing emails back in here.
Digging up personal messages.
Showing private correspondence. And he has another video now, I guess.
Showing private correspondence. Bryan showing people's PayPal information. Showing their YouTube comments, private YouTube comments back and forth. Showing people's emails. Looking back to my private messages when I donated money to dox me. And now he's complaining about it. By all means, send him your money. He needs more money. Okay? Send it. Send it.
It's just his new thing. Now he's going to be another, join the crew and whatever else. And you say, well, now, come on, he's not joining these people. Then what about this?
Oh, my God. Oh, no.
Video message to Tim, Conan, and Jake.
Oh, no. He had a cordial discussion with Jake, and I don't know. I'm not familiar with what happened here, but it was...
I did a video message to Tim and Jake. I'm happy that they've left Bryan Denlinger's cult. And I pray for as many people to leave Bryan Denlinger as possible. And anyway, it was a personal video message to Tim and Jake. And I put Tim Conan. And bad luck to you, Bryan Denlinger.
Pretty much just a message to him to say, hi, how you doing, and whatever. Oh, no. You can't talk to those people. They're heretics. Ah, they don't believe interracial marriage is a sin. Wake up, people. Wake up. This guy's trying to dictate who you can talk to. If you're affiliated with my ministry, then you can't talk to these people. They're heretics.
See, Bryan Denlinger, I can talk to whoever I like. Bad luck to you, Denlinger.
Wake up. Think for yourself. You're going to let some con man, liar, lazy boy with his clown shoes on out there in Maine or Pennsylvania or wherever he's at, in the woods,
in Maine,
tell you what to do, who you can, who you can't talk to, who you can, who you can't marry? Chapter and verse, please. Chapter and verse. Ain't there.
It isn't there. Of course it isn't
wonder,
there.
What do you mean? Do you guys just want to feel bad about yourself all the time? Is that it? Is that what the popularity is with this Denlinger dude? You just want to feel bad and told you're a sinner every day and every time you go up there. And you want to feel righteous because you don't listen to music. Oh, I dress my wife in tablecloths. I'm a good Christian. I'm a good Christian. Is that what you get? Is that what you get out of this? Send him your money.
Right there again, going to get mad at me for bringing out your last name. Well, Eric, get mad at him too. You're one of your new buddies here. Tim came out with a video, joking about this Australian devil here. This guy has he's
Australian devil.
I'm trusting in the right gospel, Bryan Denlinger. Jesus saves, not our asking, Bryan Denlinger. And you keep adding to the gospel. You are a phony Christian, Bryan Denlinger.
Where are you getting that Jason is an Australian devil? Proof?
He's stolen videos off my Patreon account. He's just come out, just sowed so much discord and just called me a liar, called me all kinds of things.
So he's a wicked heretic because he calls Bryan a liar. And Bryan wonders why we call him Father Bryan. Pope Bryan, Father Denlinger. Because his Bible doctrine comes from his noggin. And it changes from day to day because he forgot what he lied about yesterday. Okay? His doctrine comes from his noggin, and then he tries to find scriptures to back up what his noggin says. I don't believe in interracial marriage because Peter Ruckman didn't, and I'm a Ruckmanite, so I got to find scriptures. Send him your money. Send him your money and see what he does. Send him a nice little letter. And put something in there where if maybe you disagree with him, put something in there about how you disagree with this and that, and see the next day after getting that letter, he's going to have a video on you. He will. This is where he gets his content from. People who disagree with him and call him a liar and call him a con man. When he is.
He is a con man. Bryan Denlinger.
Goes after and
You
eats
are.
his own
Denlinger?
cult members. He eats them. You are food to him. Send him money. He's literal food. The guy produces nothing, okay? A video here and there on YouTube. How long does that really take to do? He produces nothing. Oh my, I can't. It was just a choice between doing DVDs and doing a free YouTube ministry. Hey, Bryan, you could do free DVDs.
Yep. Of course he could.
God will provide. You can
Yep.
still do DVDs and actually produce something. A lot of people do it.
That's right.
Nope. Too much work. Can't do that. You could actually have a house church. Nope. Too much work. Don't want anyone in my house. You could actually do all these things that a normal ministry would do. Nope. Too much work. Send me money. I can't do it because I need a new XYZ. I need something new. I need a bigger house for my YouTube ministry. Need me money. I need money. And then he'll talk about how, oh, well, I live very frugally compared to like Ken Copeland. Well, Ken Copeland does stuff. Ken Copeland works, regardless of if the guy's a heretic and wicked. Okay? You get paid for working. You live very frugally. I mean, you live like a con man. You have to live frugally because you're a con man. But hey, send your money. You want to be a racist like Bryan, send your money. Have him forward that idea that marrying people of a different race is a sin and you're going to go to hell for it. Send him money. If you also believe that drums, if you listen to any music with drums in them, you are going to hell, send him money. If you want to be told lies on a daily basis, well, not daily, he doesn't work that much. If you want to be told lies once a week, every week from Bryan Denlinger, send him the money. He needs that money. The world is not a corrupt enough place. We got to get some corruption in here. We need to corrupt the scriptures more. Send him money. Send him money.
Just a wicked devil. But you go down through here, and oh, look right there. Last days, Mays. Thanks, Jason. May the Lord bless you. And he's basically saying, by the way, if you watch the video, he's saying, since you've left the Denlinger cult, now we can fellowship.
Right.
And this little...
Right. That's exactly it. Look, every one of you guys who's in the Denlinger cult are my enemy. All right?
Yep.
You're my enemy until you break from that. I have no problem talking with you and having discussions or something like that. But when people are caught up in that, we're going to call you names. We are.
Yep.
We're going to make fun of you because it's hilarious that people in this day and age think that it's a sin to marry someone who has a different skin color. I mean, that is about as small-minded as you can get. You're basically shouting to the world, I got a 60 IQ. Huh. That's what you're doing. You ain't going to find that in the Bible anywhere. You can't say, oh, and if...
And I love African American people, Bryan Denlinger.
Makes another reason, of course, is that we go against it because it makes Bible believers look stupid when you say stuff like that and when you propagate stuff like that. So it's, of course, it's not, all these people attacking me, Bryan. Well, Bryan's an easy target. When you say interracial marriage is a sin and you go to hell for it, you're painting a pretty big target and you're making me look stupid because he identifies as a Bible-believing Christian, which he's not. He's a Pharisee, changes the Bible to what he wants it to be in his own mind. A lot of that old work salvation upbringing that he had. Okay? You want to support that and you want to be a part of that, send him money. You want to be a racist, bigot, whatever. Go for it. Go for it. You want to support liars? Go for it. Go for it.
Little buddy down here, Last Days Maze with his little rock and roll is good for
I'll
you.
point out Last Days Maze is another guy who's been following Bryan for years and years. And the second that he turns or has a problem with what he says in private correspondence, right, behind the scenes, the second that Bryan decides that he disagrees with him too much, he throws him under the bus.
Study, basically. Thanks, Jason. May the Lord bless you. You see, if they were of us, they would no doubt have continued with us.
Yeah, he's happy that you found the light.
Okay?
We're like,
you don't
great.
have to agree with me on everything. You get tired of watching my videos or something.
You don't have to agree with us.
Yep.
Us versus them. Us versus them. No. If you understand and see Bryan for who he is, we're happy about that.
Yep.
You still want to believe in people being saved differently in the Old Testament, people being saved by works? Well, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. But we're not going to make videos about heretic because of blah, blah, blah. Nah. That's your thing, and you'll come out of it eventually. We're not here to we're not really here to attack people on their individual beliefs in that sense. We're out here going after teachers, or self-proclaimed teachers in this instance, who are teaching absolute garbage.
Yeah, and that's what
garbage.
Denlinger is garbage.
Right?
Teaching
Especially
garbage.
when they lie,
that's
and they're
what
dangerous because they lie and they slander people, dox people whenever people disagree. They are classic cult leaders. Now, the reason that Bryan isn't as big of a threat, and I'm leaving the guy alone for a long time, is because he's too lazy to do anything. Okay? He could be the next Jim Jones, the people that love his Kool-Aid so much, right? He could be, but he's too lazy. So it's like, whatever. He'll eat himself. He'll eventually cross the line so much that he'll get kicked off of YouTube. She goes, oh, well, I'm using YouTube. He's using YouTube because it's free. What he could be doing with those donations, knowing that YouTube doesn't like Christians very much, is instead of buying himself 3 little houses, but they were cheap. Still, he used his ministry money to buy himself houses for himself and his kid and his wife, and bought his 100 acres or whatever he's got. He's using all of his income towards his stuff that he wants to buy. Now, what someone who is running a legitimate ministry would do is, realizing that YouTube could kick him off at any moment, would probably start their own website where he could put videos on his own website. But then it costs him money. Isn't that what ministry money should go for?
Yep.
It's not 2005 or 4 or 6 or whenever YouTube started anymore. There's websites all over that do video hosting and mirror to YouTube. But that costs money. And rather than investing in that, rather than investing in giving out DVDs and physical media, rather than do any of that.
There is also Daily Motion, which is also free. But there's only a minimum of certain amount of videos you can do per day, though, or whatever the size of the videos, and depending on how many. So, but anyway, I haven't been on Daily Motion for a long time.
That he's going to stick with the free media and just get money that way, because he'll, affects his bottom line. He might need a new 4-wheeler. I'm in the business of, forwarding the gospel and teaching, and of course, pointing out fraudster, charlatan, con men, liars like Bryan Denlinger.
Yep.
And I praise the Lord when somebody sees this stuff and gets
right.
away from it. And I'm angry with people who look at his racism garbage and go, oh, sure, send him the money. Honey, how much money we got? Oh, we got to give it to Denlinger. He doesn't like black people either.
And I love black people.
Go support it. Write out that check for the huckster in his little costume.
Something, go on, do your own thing. But when you start to develop your own little ministry, bringing out videos, just critiquing every little thing I do and just looking through it. Well, got you there, got you there, got you there. You've lost it.
It's not that hard.
So, again, just to clear up, because I have to, that's the only reason I did this video. I needed to clarify what I was talking about. Okay?
Right.
When I was in Honduras and Costa Rica.
He wants to go back to the race thing, which has nothing to do with anything. It's kind of a side issue. It has to do with Bryan being a liar. It has to do with his integrity and his condescending, pompous, prideful attitude towards everybody, because he is the great Bryan Denlinger. He is the elder of his own church. Grizzled, wise old man that never had a real job. Okay? Closest he came was cutting down trees. But according to him, he's a chef. When he worked as a short order cook on a train, that makes him a chef. Chef Bryan Denlinger. So, whatever. That's about enough of this nonsense. I think I had another time code written down, and I don't even remember here. 18 something. 1810.
A woman of Spain, there would have been no sin at all. And again, I was not let into all this stuff and whatever. And
right. Okay. This is where he talks again and reaffirms the position that you're lost if you're an interracial marriage. Okay.
And so I got cornered into this thing, and I come out and I said, well, I'm looking at things, and at first I'm not really sure and whatever. And I see the proof. Oh, okay. Well, she's descended from Spain. Well, then there's no sin. It's not interracial. But
do you imagine this? What the kookiness nonsense goes off to where you have to look up somebody on Ancestry.com to figure out whether or not you can date them, whether or not it's a sin or not. Have you heard of something?
Total garbage from Bryan Denlinger. Total garbage.
Like so ludicrous? Send him your money.
The reason this child here brings this up is because his video games.
Calls him a child. He's in his 20s. This is the condescending, arrogant, pompous attitude of a cult leader here.
Yep.
Now, let me put this out here. Tim is not my friend, okay? Tim is not my friend. Tim would be considered my enemy because he's part of the cult and he has attacked me. I don't watch his stuff, so I don't know. He's probably even worse than what I know of, but he's not my friend. So why am I sticking up for Tim? Because he sees the lie. Eyes to see, ears to hear.
Yep.
And it won't be too long. I bet old Tim will be talking to me on the phone like all the other Denlingerites. They got no place else to go. You're out of the cult. I got no problems with you.
Good.
I got no problems with you. It's all water under the bridge. Many people, myself included. How do I get to talk about it? Because I was in it. I got scammed. Why does Frank get to talk about it on King's Table? He got scammed.
Yep.
Okay? We're out here warning people. Warning, sounding the alarm about guys like Denlinger. Him in particular, because we have such an intimate relationship. We know. Okay? We know. We see through all his lies. And the people in the cult, they just can't. But that's a big one. He wants to go up on race and make the whole thing about race, not about his lying and not about his whole idea of work salvation. If he wants to make it about the race thing, fine. Send him your money because you don't like black people either.
And I love
You don't
black
like
people.
Spaniards. You don't like those
and you're
people.
Not getting
They're
a
not
cent
of your
from me, Bryan
kind.
Denlinger.
It's a sin to deal with them. Send them your money. Send them your money. All I will briefly say about the race thing is it's pretty obvious. The skin color makes no difference. If you take somebody from another part of the world, your relationship will have more difficulties than with someone who is regionally similar cultural background. Your skin color makes zero difference.
Yep.
Zero. And of course, interracial marriage is in the Bible, but that doesn't matter to Bryan. because he's a respecter of persons in the sense of old Peter Ruckman, old crazy coot, racist Peter Ruckman. But, you know, you want to support racism, send him your money. Pony Express it off to Bryan Denlinger.
And his rock music got kicked. And his little buddy got kicked as well.
Yeah, and you get kicked all the time.
I do thank you, Tim, for bringing this out.
I do
just
too.
So I could clarify what I meant.
Okay, good. Now that you've shown yourself to be a liar in this video also, I thank you too. I thank you too, Tim. I know you don't like me. I know you think I'm a crazy, loony heretic. And this is the thing, you know, no one can ever listen to us because we're the wacko heretics, right? Until you see through Bryan's thinly veiled illusion of having a ministry. And once you start to see through that, then you do start to look at guys like me, guys like Ed, looking at Frank, and these other channels that are like, oh, don't go over there. And you actually see what we're talking about, and you can relate to us because we've been there. Okay. We don't lie. Wouldn't that be like the very most basic thing you would expect from somebody who's trying to teach doctrine or give their opinion on something? Is that they ain't going to lie to you? Isn't that kind of the number one requirement for having a ministry? Anyways, send them your money. With that, we're going to be out of here. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Thanks, Max.